Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name's Muhammad Riskiyadi Siregar. I want to presentation journal or article about the effect of English games to improve speaking skill and motivation of class 10 senior high school students by Lydia Afriana Nainggolan, Zelita Alvina Sialagan, and Renata Eka Situmorang. In this English Education Department University of HKBV. Na mentions pematang siantar. Volume to number 10, January 2022. Okay, next slide, table content. Table content draw 5. The first, introduction. Second, theoretical framework. Third, method. Fourth, discussion. And 5, conclusion. And the next slide, I want to explain introductions. English is the only foreign language designated as an international language in communication and information media globally. Make English a foreign language or second language to be studied and used in communication, including Indonesian. In learning English, there are 4 types of skill, namely listening, speaking, reading, writing, and all the 4 skill. Speaking is the main skill in learning a second or foreign language. In the introduction, there are many according of researchers. I want to research according research of Shari and Leshtari about some of the cases students' difficulty in speaking English are. First, difficulty expressing ideas verbally speaking. Second, lack of vocabulary. Third, low grammar skill, making it difficult to speak with the correct rules. Fourth, low ability to pronounce words, making it difficult to pronounce the word correctly. And the last, lack of church and motivation of children to speak for fear of being wrong. And then next slide, in this study, research use English games to practice speaking skill of class 10 student of SMA Negeri 1 Dolok Batu Nangga. English games used in learning English are offered in a real and meaningful way through task completion. Students are players of the English games, but are required to use the language actively and interact with other players. Games lead students to understand the instructions and become interested in the challenges in the game. Mention that there are several benefits of playing of English games, namely, the first, motivating students, second, directing students to strive in learning, providing various language practice with various speaking, writing, listening, and reading skill, and then encouraging students to interact and communicate, and then create a meaningful use of language, and last, and can reduce student anxiety levels. And then second content, theoretical framework. Theoretical framework, there are 3 points. The first, the importance of speaking English. Speaking is the most important skill among the 4 English skills and is considered a difficult skill because the speaker must produce speech orally. Difficulties in finishing spoken utterance are faced by foreign language learners if they do not learn the grammatical structures and do not have sufficient vocabulary knowledge. Speaking skill is indeed the most important skill for all foreign language learners. Some of the things that English learners want to achieve to continue their education effort, to improve their careers, improve their business, etc. And then next slide. According to Bunker, there are 3 areas of knowledge in speaking skill, namely the first, the mechanical element of language, which include pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary, with the aim that speakers have the use of words in the correct order and pronunciation. The second, the speaking function, which includes transactions and interaction, with the aim of enabling the speaker to know when clarity of information is needed in the exchange of information and conversation. On the last, third, sociocultural norms, which include speaking tones, speech rate, lack of pause between speaker, relative roles of participation that allow a person to be aware of the conversational situation with who he is speaking and what is the purpose of speaking. The second kind of theoretical framework is English games. English games. The application of English game is one of the right strategies for students. The application of games in the classroom has a focus not only on directing students to learn more effectively, but on making students feel happy during learning and ultimately ensuring the emergence of learning motivation from students. According to Kailash, the game is an activity that must have the following characteristic. First, fun. Fun is the activity is chosen for its like featured character. Second, separate. It is circumscribed in time and place. Third, uncertain. The outcomes of the activity is shown on first level. Fourth, non-productive. Participation is not productive. Fifth, governed by rules. The activity household that are different from everyday life. The last, fictitious, it is accompanied by the awareness of a different reality. Language learning programs can foster student motivation. Language games can be divided according to different principles. Hatfield states that there are two classifications of English games. The first classification is a linguistic games that focuses on accuracy, and the second classification is a communicative game that focuses on successful exchange of information. Based on Hatfield sketched in the cups. The types of English games are first sorting, ordering, or arranging games. Second, information games. Third, guessing games. Fourth, search games. Fifth, matching games. And then labeling games. And then exchanging games. And then word games. And the last four play games or timers. And the last point of the rhetorical framework is teaching English through English games. There are many types of English games. The use and selection of these types of games must be decided according to the level and topic being taught to students. According to, in order for the application of English games to learn effectively and achieve the best result, the teacher must understand and apply four elements when offering games in classroom, namely, first, time, option, and then prioritization, and then management. Content, the third content is method. The research is a classroom action research. Classroom action research. Classroom action research is a research aimed at improving the quality of learning in the classroom. In the classroom action research consists of 4 stages, which including planning, implementation, observation, and replication. The population in this study was class 10 NIFA, SMA, and $1 Batnanggal. The data collection was carried using two instruments. First, the speaking test instrument for obtaining data on students' speaking skill. The second observation instrument is to obtain data on motivation student learning. Fourth of contents is discussion. Discussion to discuss the first cycle one, the researcher and his colleagues who acted as observed made initial observation as material for planning. The result of observation on student speaking skill obtained scores in implementation or information of the action. The teacher used 4 kinds of English games, namely description, quiz, spelling puzzle, make a sentence, and guess jobs. Like so, the trouble one student's speaking skill in cycle 1. And then cycle 2. Cycle 2 is based on the data obtained from cycle 1. The research and of the observed then played the cycle 2, which was held in 3 meetings. In cycle 2, there are 1 games played, namely role-play, picnic, conversation by card. Like so, the trouble is cycle 2. From the table above, it can be seen that the development of student speaking skill is getting faster and more sustained. And the last content is conclusion. The result of the analysis of oral production showed a general improvement by the student. At the moment, participation in class has increased as a result of the development of games, and students look more confident and are willing to speak more often during the class. The research can conclude that games are good activities for developing participation in a funny and interesting way because they permit students to use the second language in communicative situations related to the topic. Another important conclusion of the study is that controlled games help stimulate student oral participation because they help lower tensions and anxiety that prevent students acquiring their language. I think that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.